We have quorum. We have maybe all the people we're gonna get. We have five.
Video on this, we have video here, so I can see if anybody joins.
Okay, Alex is the one, and the question is whether his plane is still in the air, because I talked to him before the doors closed. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. All rise for the pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our fallen first responders, particularly our firefighters. Okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes of March 9th, 2023. Okay,
I seconded.
moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the special meeting of March 22nd to 2023.
So moved.
Second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No nays, okay. Chairman's report. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone of the following. That other than the need to understand the calendar leading to a final decision on arbitration, anything related to the arbitration or the arguments contained within is outside the scope of this commission. Along the same lines, this is a nonpartisan commission. As such, we have nothing to do with the elections. Individual members may be very active in the election process, but they're good enough to leave that outside the room, and we want to keep to those norms. And I will not hesitate to rule people out of order if they do not comply with these constraints. Now, to happier news, the chief will talk about the award ceremony on April 26th. The interviews that we just completed, 3 days of interviews, are a separate agenda item. And the only other update is I checked as recently as 15 minutes ago on HB 6841, which is about firefighter recruitment, sports for the schools, high school education programs. And as of yesterday, it was referred to the House Committee on Education. I also checked on the current version of the cancer bill, which is now SB 963. And it, on March 28th, was given a Senate calendar number 167 and a file number 242. Sadly, I have to remind everybody that just because it gets on a calendar, lots of things die on the calendar. So those that want to advocate for this need to get to the move it off the calendar into an actual vote. I used to work at the legislature, so I'm familiar with sort of that process. Chief, your update?
Yes. To your point about arbitration, we're expecting all the briefs are in, response to the briefs are in, and it's in the hands of the panel. And we're expecting sometime after June 1st for a decision from the arbitration.
Okay. Do any of the commissioners have a question on the calendar, not on anything else to do with the arbitration? You all good? Okay, keep going, Chief.
As we discussed at the last meeting, I have pursued the station study, met with the first Black woman and Chief Administrative Officer, Finance Director, HR, and reviewed the RFP, or reviewed a proposal. And I will work with the purchasing department to develop an RFP, publish an RFP to get proposals back to do that station study, which was step one of two studies, as we discussed last month. Next week, we'll begin a program. We talked about limited access highways and the dangers to responders on limited access highways. A year ago, we worked with the Flagman program. Cindy Iodice, formerly Mickey's Towing, and her brother died in a tragic accident on the Merritt Parkway. And she started Flagman to advocate for slow down, move over. Part of that is public advocacy and PSAs at a more local level. She's developed a curriculum, or they have developed a curriculum to advocate for highway safety, and will deliver it to the Fairfield Public Schools as a beta test. Lieutenant Smith, I don't know if Rob's here, has worked very closely with Flagman and with Cindy Iodice in that program. And it is, just as we all know, when we got into our car and our kids reminded us to put our seatbelts on, the same kind of approach will be taken with this, recognizing that the danger to responders on the side of the highway. The recommendation is whenever you confront an emergency vehicle or a maintenance vehicle on the side of the road, you move over one lane and slow down. And so that will be over the next 2 weeks, delivered to the entire population of Fairfield Public Schools. And police, fire, and EMS will participate in those essentially assemblies in each of the schools. And on the 21st, there will be a press conference. It was supposed to be Monday, but Senator Blumenthal, who's been a staunch advocate of this program, suffered a fall, and he asked it be delayed. So that press conference will take place at the fire headquarters on Reef Road, I believe at 9:30 on September 21st, and I will send out a reminder on that.
September 21st?
Excuse me, April 21st.
Okay. And you'll send out a reminder?
I will.
Thank you.
On Tuesday, we will host a joint staff meeting with leadership from the Fairfield Police Department. Our assistant chiefs, the deputy, and I will meet with the police chief, deputy, captains, and lieutenants from the police department to further our working relationship for issues that, there's an intersection between our two organizations. Some of that is organizationally, as we have with the ECC project, the radio project, and others more urgently are emergency responses. And so that will be the beginning of hopefully at least twice a year getting together, but also create an opportunity for better dialogue between our staff and their staff on a routine basis, separate from a larger meeting. So we're looking forward to that. On April 19th, the RTM will hear the fire department's budget. It has passed through, as reported last month, through the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance, and the RTM will hear all budgets on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we're expecting that it will go as well as it has with the other boards.
Chief,
And-
will you let us know where we are on the agenda? Just give us a
Yeah.
rough estimate of.
Yeah, the meeting, I believe, begins at 7:30 at the Board of Ed building.
Mhm.
And we are towards the front. There is another department ahead of us. Police department is behind us, but I will certainly, before the end of tonight, I'll make sure I give you a heads up.
Great, thanks.
And lastly, as you mentioned, the fire department will host an award ceremony on Wednesday, April 26th. 44 members have been nominated or will receive recognition. There is a awards committee headed up by Lieutenant Smith, taking input from officers after emergency calls, where there's a checkoff box for those events that warrant further investigation as to whether it rises to the level of recognition. And Lieutenant Smith, the committee, works with the deputy and submits all of those names for consideration. We have, after COVID, we put it off. I think the last time we ran a awards program was 2021. So we want to get back into a more routine process to make those recognitions. So that'll be 4:00 here on the 26th of April. And that concludes my report.
Okay, questions for the chief?
I do have a question for the chief. Why are you
I
looking at me like
expected.
that? I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I probably caught most of the budget process
Yeah.
on Fair TV. And one of the things that I didn't hear was brought up was the additional person in the fire marshal's office. Did that get squashed somewhere along the line? Because I did not hear that come up anywhere in any discussions.
There were 12 positions that were requested in the budget process, and all new positions don't get, they don't, and this is something that First Selectman Tetro did, and First Selectwoman Kupchak does as well, is they don't get submitted as a budget request. There is a separate consideration for all of those positions from all of the departments, and there were 12. There were 2 positions that were approved, one in the police department, and the increase of our training coordinator position here from part-time to full-time. The fire inspector's position and 9 other requests were turned up.
9 other requests from other county agencies.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I just thought I missed something at one of the.
No, I think I mentioned it last month, but
Anything else, Joe?
That's it.
Liam, anything? 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 Okay, deputy chief, you are up.
So in regard to operations, a couple notable incidents, and there were many, but a couple more notable ones were on Fairfield Beach Road, there was an alarm. It was a duplex, pretty new construction, and people were sleeping on the right side of the duplex as you're looking at it. It smelled smoke, and they went to investigate. In the left side of the duplex, which they also own, they came and saw a smoke condition. The fire department, our people got there very quickly, and the engine company got in very quickly. Ladder 2 made an extraordinary positioning. It had to be seen to be believed. And but, all great work, and it was done very quickly. And they stopped. It was a fire in the center of the floor from spreading, and it was a very, very quick, good stop. There was also another great stop. I would happen to be listening, and I heard Engine 3 go on the air, and Lieutenant Cronin said he was going on the air to hear where he was going, but all of a sudden he got redirected to Melville, and he was sort of going that direction. And a caller, a lady was in the kitchen. She was wheelchair bound, and she called saying she was trapped. There was a cooking fire going on, and Engine 3 got there. Smoke was showing out the front door, and in a working fire. And members of Engine 3, I think it was firefighter Louise, and who was the other one? Gibby. Oh, Brian.
No, Gibby.
Oh, okay. What you call it? So they got in very quickly and took her out, and she was not harmed. She did refuse treatment, so that's how quickly they got at her. So excellent, good work. And stove fire, kitchen fire was put out with no extension. So outstanding work. Also, there's been a lot of brush fires. The fire department has been putting out some media telling people to be extra careful. It's a very high warning from the state. And as you can see in New Jersey, it's been inundated also, but we've already had some fires on a couple sections of our town already, brush fires. So we've been seeing the effects of the dry weather. Let's see, in other non-operational, the RMS, the Records Management Project, the bid should go out soon. Purchasing is putting the final touches on it. their final technical touches. So that should go out, and hopefully we'll have some vendors respond on that. In regard to personnel, we'll discuss the awards, and tonight we'll discuss what we've been doing all week, the interviews of candidates. We also had a candidate who was offered a job, declined to take a job offer in New Canaan. So we do have a vacancy at this present time still. I'm not sure if Norma's on, I'll check later, but the new CERT class graduation was April 1st, and they had a very large class. I think it was like 28, 29 people. It was a large class, very well received. In regard to facilities, we're waiting for the architect's plans to come back in order to bid out the Station 1 bathroom project. The apparatus stores, they had some supply chain, the actual supplies coming into their shop. They tell us that they're going to restart the project the first week of May. I believe the start will be at the front, as the front doors of Station 1, first thing that they commence. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Commissioners, questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I would just love to look a little more at the brush fires, like where are we seeing those? Because I know just being a father of 5, and it's been kind of a bit of the talk around the neighborhood.
So, well, any place, I mean, there's a lot of brush around here, and of course, we've got the marshes back here, but fortunately what they do is, they let the water in the marshes so that, it's not that dry. So that does help most of the time there, but we've seen it off the Merritt, we've had fires there, we've had fires, I think, behind, Tunxus, right at, right, yes. So, but it really could be in your backyard, I know where you live behind the lake, right? There's a lot of trees there. I would say Lake Mohegan's, a ripe spot for it too. So be on guard. If you see
What a valley, a lot of people, it's been almost like a little bit of a joke. People have been saying it rained, and I'm like,
yeah,
you're dry, so.
and people
Thank you.
Merritt, they throw cigarettes out the car, out the car windows, and then it doesn't help. So
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, I did have a
Yes.
question.
Okay.
And it's, I guess, either for the chief or the deputy chief, because there's nobody here from the fire marshal's office. Oh, hi, Ron. And I'm looking at the column, and it's a real simple one. We have sales receipt, which is a amount as an income, and we have invoice.
I don't know anything about that. Sorry.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out, no, I'm just trying to figure out, they're both income, they're both being charged for services,
Do you have a page number, John?
on the profit loss statement.
oh yeah, that's just
So we have a sales receipt, and then we have an invoice. What's the difference between the two?
yeah, there is no difference. That Jen might have just input it that way. That's but everything actionable you'll see.
No, I see all that, that's why I couldn't figure out, looking at the numbers, what the two different items were.
We've seen that before, and I think that's how she inputted it on the first time, and it was never changed. So we can try to get her to change it.
Oh, I don't care. I just wanted to know, well, I do care. I just
Yeah,
wanted to know
it
if there
should be
was
cleaned
a
up.
reason for the two different, that's all.
Yeah, no, it should be cleaned up so that you guys have worked very hard at getting it so that we actually have and understand our numbers. And so we ought to.
I was looking for a comparison between the different types under the memos and stuff, and
No,
nothing was
no difference.
added up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Find out.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Fine. Commissioner?
Chief,
Chief?
Deputy Chief, I was just wondering, what department or county originates that on our telephone when I see an alert?
Oh, which alert though?
Like it's a red flag alert, it's a
Oh.
dry day, right? Isn't that what it's implying?
Well, see,
Alert?
we were saying the media that we were doing was on, say, Facebook and the town's
Oh.
web page and things like that. But if you go on the computer deep, with Department of
Protection.
Energy and Environment.
Oh, energy is.
So they issue their fire
That's-
warning. So a couple weeks ago it was high, now it's
Yes.
very high.
Right.
So it's,
So that's who does it, D.
yes.
Yeah, and
Thank
some,
you.
for some phone systems, the National Weather Service alert.
That's what I
Comes
thought.
across.
Okay.
And
Sort of
hopefully you're
depends on,
signed up for Fairfield alerts.
so it depends on what you've signed up for to some
I see,
extent.
thank you.
Is anyone here from Southport? I don't, okay. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Anybody here from Stratfield? Okay. And local 1426 is definitely here.
Good afternoon. 1426, you mentioned the cancer bill. Chief mentioned that our arbitration awards, our arbitration briefs have been filed. There's nothing left there to happen. I forwarded that to all of you because I think it is important for you to read that. Local 1426 is a labor organization. We're on the agenda here as a labor organization to speak about labor issues. All of those labor issues control the wages, hours, and working conditions, which all of you are in charge of by the charter. So I think it's very important for you to know that all the hard work that we did for the ISO rating was then used against these guys who did all that work. This body congratulated these guys for that work. And to know that it was then used as a cudgel against them in negotiations is disheartening. We've talked a lot about morale. That's the worst thing I've ever seen anyone do. And there's nothing for you to do about it, I agree. But what is important is that you understand what's going on here. We are in a war with the town. We have zero allies other than the members here, and we've done well. At the beginning of this, we talked about arbitration and how everybody leaves unhappy. Not this time, because we're going to do better if we lose every single thing in there. We're going to do better than any negotiation the town bothered to give us. So all we've learned is our best bet is to fight. And that's why you're going to see us continue to fight. Does anyone have any questions for me? No?
Thank you very much. CERT is,
I didn't see Norma on it.
okay. And we
Nor-
do not have
Norma's
any
here.
information. I didn't see any. Okay.
Norma's here.
Old business was the award.
Do I hear Norma here? She's usually.
Norma's here.
Oh, you are here. I was told
Very
you
low.
weren't. Hang on, we have to deal with volume. Give us a minute.
Norma?
I'm here.
Okay,
Now
good.
we can
Now we
hear
can
you.
hear you. Sorry.
I'm glad you fought to be heard, Norma.
Thanks a lot, Madam Chair. So just a quick report. Deputy already mentioned on April 1st, we graduated our students after 30 hours of training, which is an incredible commitment for Saturdays in a row, and they were sworn in. Let's see, public safety activities. Last Saturday, we had a lot of CERT members helping with the 5K, the bunny run. Let's see, tomorrow, if the chief can hear me, there's traffic training going on for the CERT team.
Where are you going to be? We want
Next.
to avoid that intersection.
That's the point. Then in the future, we're going to be helping with public safety, pedestrians and traffic on Memorial Day, the half marathon in June, the fireworks in July, and then the Fairfield PD Sunset 5K in July. So we're entering a very active season, and our new members already seem very engaged, which is great. And that's it.
Great. Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions? Okay. Award ceremony, have we covered it? Because it showed up in several places.
Done.
Okay. New business, we have the promulgation of the firefighter eligibility list. Commissioner Finneran, you're up.
All right, I, Commissioner Finneran, motion that the commission establish the Town of Fairfield Fire Department firefighter eligibility list effective April 14th, 2023. And this list will be effective until June 30th, 2024, unless a successor list is approved by the Fairfield Fire Commission. The following list is the rank order list established for candidates. Number 1, Corinne
And Leonica.
Milianica, thank you.
Thank you.
2, Jeffrey Sturgis. 3, Nicholas Santanello. 4, Andrew Ocampo. 5, Christopher Dubois. 6, Sean Stewart. 7, Clayton A. Hearn. 8, Devin Waters. 9, Michael Shank. 10, Stephen Kelly. 11, Paul Wetmore III. And 12, Jeff Mann. The town of Fairfield, with the approval of the Fairfield Fire Commission, made its discretion bypass candidates without Fire Academy recruit certification training to meet unanticipated and immediate needs of the fire department. Can I get a second of this motion?
I, Ginny Klinger, second the motion.
Thank you. Commissioner Finneran, do you want to start the discussion?
Yeah, sure. On the days of April 11th, 12th, and 13th of 2023, oral interviews were held at the Fairfield Fire School for the position of firefighter. The interview panel consisted of 3 members from previous interview panels and an additional additional fire lieutenant and fire commissioner. We had Assistant Chief Roger Case. Glad I got that right. Lieutenant Kevin Pulser, firefighter Matt Straby, sorry Matt. Then Commissioner Dorothea Brennan, and then myself, Commissioner Michael Finner. The top 29 available candidates from the Connecticut Testing Consortium's list of candidates with EMT credentials ranked from the written and oral testing conducted in 2023 were scheduled for interviews by the Fairfield panel. 1 candidate did not attend, resulting on only 28 candidate interviews. Candidates were asked questions prepared by the testing company, and based upon these interviews, a ranked list of candidates was developed to create Fairfield's firefighter eligibility list. The interview panel unanimously recommended the approval of the list in order.
Thank you. I have one correction, and it's my typo. It's not the commissioners. Here's the most recent date you read. The orals that were conducted by this consortium were 2022. It's in the second to last paragraph, Sheila. I caught it above and I didn't catch it down below. Okay. Commissioners, any discussion, questions? Yes,
Might just make an observation.
yes.
So this is the second time through the list or into the list. And we have gone deeper into the consortium list than we ever have before. We have interviewed, or we have gone down to, we estimate almost 90, position number 90 on the list. Some didn't appear. It doesn't mean that we interviewed 90, but we went down to number 90 in the list. And the report from the interview panel was there were some extraordinary candidates in that list that, in your terms, that wowed the panel, is how it was described. And I think that it is a testament to, the quality of candidates that we're attracting. We work hard at recruitment, and the number of candidates who want to come to work for the town of Fairfield, which I think that was relayed to the panel, that was relayed earlier, that had passed up jobs elsewhere for the opportunity to compete here. So I'm really happy that as deep into the list that we're getting, that we're still getting really high quality candidates that become highly recommended by the interview panel.
Thank you. I also want to particularly thank the firefighters and the commissioner who put the time and effort. Firefighter Matt, Kevin, and AC Case. This is a long, grueling process. 9 interviews, then 8 interviews, and then today was 11 interviews, and then being ready for this. So it is, and everybody stays focused, stays engaged. There's lively conversation after we talk to each candidate, and then we talk about the candidates in context of each other in an effort to try to make sure we provide new candidates that are worthy of their brethren that they're joining. So I thank everybody for their efforts.
And I'll add, it was a wonderful experience to take part in it with the fire department, and I learned a ton doing it. And you're represented very well by your brethren on that committee, and they're really doing a great job of, in a polite, professional way, weeding out people that really shouldn't wear your badge. And I felt extremely comfortable and confident with our top choices.
So, I don't want to put you on the con, but I see you, I don't see Matt, but you're welcome to come in if you want, because it was your first experience too.
Yeah, it was a great experience, good learning experience. I enjoyed it.
So, thank you for your time and commitment. I appreciate it.
Well, it was your first time. That's
Yeah.
it's good.
Okay, so if there's no other discussion, all in favor?
I got one more discussion.
Yes? I'm sorry,
Okay.
you didn't.
And I may have missed it because I was reading stuff and was confused. Did we change the language in
Yes.
the first paragraph after 12?
Yes,
That's all right. 'Cause I
yes,
was trying
the
to figure out-
language that you have written in front of you is what got read in. The
I don't-
inclusion of, oh, you don't have the written in copy.
You're right.
Sorry, I thought you did. I did it for everybody else. What he's asking is that there is language that if we get in a real serious jam and certain people do not have their, what's the language? Yes, thank you. I gave away all my copies. Fire Academy recruitment certification, we can go down the list. We can't go outside of it, but we can only do it with the commission's approval. So it would take a formal vote. And the intention is only if we get really jammed up because of the number of people leaving and the number we have to hire, in part based on the arbitration in all probability. But yes, the language is in the master.
Okay, because I apologize. Like I said, I was trying to figure
Right.
out the names and then.
Right.
And what the, okay. That's the only statement I had on
As
this.
long as it wasn't my crappy Yonkers accent throwing you off.
Don't do one of my youngest actors.
Now, we're used to that Yonkers
I mean, no,
accent,
we're surrounded.
especially when students interview for the
Right.
Yonkers position.
I need a vote. All in favor?
Uh,
Public comment. Okay, we have nothing else to hear and act on, so.
I have some stuff that falls under that.
Oh, okay, go right ahead, Commissioner.
So I have a couple of things, very brief, but two different groups that may be submitting stuff, especially if it's over 100 pages. Can we get it like more than a day in advance so that we can read through it? Because it's really hard to
Well, you,
read through it and
you
comprehend.
at your leisure, there's nothing for you to do. I mean, nothing's gonna happen with it, so.
That's-
If you have questions about it at the next,
But-
meeting, happy to answer.
No,
Not here, you answer
there
it
could
outside.
be other things. And I'm just saying, if there's going to be a huge document that's coming to the board,
From anybody.
yeah, from anybody, please get it to us a little earlier
Right.
than a day in advance so that we can have time to read through it. Because I want to make sure I don't miss things. And yes, I will read through it all.
Yes.
Next thing that I have, what's that?
Take your blood pressure pills.
They're in the console of the truck. I'm not quite sure. I know, probably the rank and file may know, but, the rest of the commissioners, that this is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week.
Right.
And I have wrote up a, resolution.
Okay,
And I can pass it down the
Okay.
line. And let me grab you.
should have probably come up under new business, but it's fine.
But because it wasn't listed under new business and it's really,
There you go.
it's the Fairfield Fire Commission proclamation, National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 9th through the 15th. 2015, where did I get that from? Okay, 2023. Whereas emergencies occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. Whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of law enforcement, firefighters, EMS is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. Whereas the safety of our police officers, firefighters is dependent on the quality and accuracy of the information obtained from the citizens who telephone the Fairfield County Regional Dispatch Center. Whereas the public safety dispatchers are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. Whereas police safety dispatchers are the single vital link for our police officers, firefighters, by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them with information and ensuring their safety. Whereas public safety dispatchers of the Fairfield County Regional Dispatch Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, professionalism during the performance of their job this past year, now therefore let it be resolved that the Board of Fire Commissioners of Fairfield, Connecticut hereby proclaim the week April 9th through the 15th, 2023 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, and join in honoring these men and women and the professionalism they use to keep our citizens safe. Adopted this day, April 13th, 2023.
You need a second?
I guess
Pass
so.
Resolution?
I'll second. So it is nationals.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
We're reinforcing it locally, I think is the way to think about it. Any other discussion? Thank you for bringing this up. All in favor? Aye. Yep. Yeah, you're good. Okay. Please note that Commissioner Plitzkis and Cinto are not present. So I don't think we can use their names on the resolution.
That's just listing all the commissioners.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it doesn't list the voter. It just says that you're the chair.
Okay.
uh,
That's fine.
Commissioner Burke, secretary, and it lists the rest of the commissioners.
Great. Excellent. Anything else, Joe?
I will fix the date on the top and,
Email it to Sheila, please.
yep,
He's got an
you have an E at the end. Okay,
Yes.
I'll fix that. Is it correct on the website? I would check the website because this is where I got the list from. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Anything else that anybody wants? Yes, Chief.
So you asked about where we were on the agenda on Wednesday
Yeah.
night. So the meeting starts at 7 o'clock, not 7:30. And in this order, building, solid waste and recycling, public works administration, public works operations, water pollution control authority, and us.
Okay, so late. Solid waste could take a while.
DPW,
Problems here.
and they-
Anything else? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second, Federer, all in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.